Hello, my name is Allison Bauer. I'm actually graduating on Friday with my bachelor's in psychology, and then in January I will be moving on to get my master's degree in marriage and family therapy. So that's kind of my goal is to do therapy. I'm gonna do my master's in marriage and family therapy, but I feel like a lot of the degrees are kind of interchangeable, so I don't know where I'll end up. Um, I do have a couple things that are kind of important to me, which some of them I will be talking about in this presentation, that I really just want to help people find and explore within themselves, because it's just something I am very passionate about. So today's presentation is just going to be over well-being and what makes up well-being, what is well-being, how our society today affects people's well-being, um, and kind of how that can contribute to me in doing my therapy with all different kinds of people whenever I finish my master's. So for this module, I decided to look into articles that deal with social media. Social media is such a big part of our lives now, especially our well-being, just because how much time people spend on social media, like obviously is going to affect your well-being. It affects so much different parts of well-being as well, so many different aspects that contribute to our well-being. Um, so we sit here and we look at other people and they post all the good things about their lives. They obviously people are not posting bad things about their lives. They're posting only good things. So we see other people posting all these good things, and that takes away from the good things in our lives, and we just focus on the bad, and we become we lose focus on what we should be grateful for. I feel like being grateful is a big part of mindfulness and well-being. And just good mental health overall. So whenever we are looking at all these social medias and seeing all these things, it's kind of just tearing us down, making us think differently and not so positively about our life, which lowers our well-being. Um, I read an article by McCamey, and they said the tutorial was the only condition to reduce participants' fear of missing out and loneliness, and abstinence was the only condition to reduce internalizing symptoms. So, tutorial was one of the groups in their study that they were using social media in a positive way, because obviously we can't get rid of social media. That's just not going to happen. But social media can be used in positive ways. So we have to find those more positive ways to lessen the fear of missing out, because we see all our friends going out and all these people going out and doing all these fun things, and we feel like we're missing out on all those fun times and our lives are miserable and we're not having a good time. And loneliness, seeing everyone out with all their friends and everything, and then you just feel like you're just sitting in bed and you're lonely and you have nothing good going for yourself, even though that's not true at all. You just have to use social media in a way that is helpful to your well-being, not negative to your well-being. So throughout the course, we've talked a lot about well-being, obviously, and the three main takeaways that have really like kind of stuck with me and been something I want to talk about and pursue through my career of therapy. The first one is the fact that there's many aspects that contribute to someone's well-being. There's so many different things that contribute to well-being. You can't just focus on one thing and be like, this is how I'm going to fix my well-being. It takes a lot of effort and looking at your life as a whole and then kind of figuring out which aspects you need to tweak or change to be at your highest well-being that you can be, which obviously everything in your life is not going to be 100% perfect and everything, but just trying to find ways to make it as your well-being as high as can be is the goal. Another one is about identity. Identity is a really big part of someone's well-being, I found in the articles that we've read throughout this semester. I feel like whenever you're in high school, if you find your identity first, whenever the younger you find your identity, I feel like the easier your life becomes because you find yourself and you know what you want to do and all this stuff. And that really contributes to your well-being because it just goes back into how many aspects there is of well-being. Finding your identity deals with multiple aspects and contributes to multiple aspects, and so it helps increase your well-being because it's increasing multiple aspects of well-being. And then another thing, obviously with me doing therapy, is just learning more about cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a great way to kind of change your thinking to increase well-being. I believe that a lot of negative or bad well-being comes from negative thinking. If you can turn any situation into a positive situation, then your well-being is going to be higher because you're going to look at everything in a more positive light. So using cognitive behavioral therapy, that really helps to increase your well-being in every type of situation that you can go through. So those are kind of like 3 things that I really took away that I feel like are going to help me teach others and help increase others' well-being in therapy. So what are the aspects that contribute to well-being? So there's 5 that I feel like really contribute to well-being. The first being physical health, of course. The second being having a purpose. The third being your social life. The fourth being psychological needs. And the fifth being economic stability. So obviously, it's hard to be able to do all of these things because, and I am a mother, I'm a single mother who is working and in school full-time, but for both. So I don't have time to go to the gym for my physical health. I do have a purpose. Obviously, I'm a mother, I'm in school, I'm doing therapy. So I do have the purpose figured out. Social life, I don't have time to have a social life, to hang out with my friends and go and do stuff. I just don't have time to have that social life. My psychological needs, obviously I'm stressed out a lot. I have a lot of anxiety trying to, do the best I can in my classes and be the best mom I can be and also do well at work and everything. It's a lot. It's a lot to put on someone. I feel like I'm constantly rushing around. And then economic stability. In this economy, no one has economic stability. Like, everyone's stressed out from that, and you can see it in everyone's well-being. Everyone talks about it, how it's impacting them so negatively. Like, within my own life, me not being able to buy a house, that makes me feel so defeated. That makes me feel so defeated that I have 2 children and I'm not able to buy a house for them. It's hard. It really is hard. And so whenever you're trying to figure out your well-being, you do have to look at all of these different aspects and this is important because this is so important because you have to understand well-being. To be able to fix well-being, you have to understand well-being. To be able to increase your well-being, you have to understand it first. So understanding what aspects go into your well-being, well, then you can look at it and then you can kind of rate it. So my physical health, do you go to the gym? Do you be walking? Do you feel good? All these things. And then me as a therapist, I can go through each of these. The purpose, do you have a purpose in life? Do you feel like you have goals? Social life, are you hanging out with your friends? Do you have friends? Do you hang out with your family? Do you go and do stuff? Psychological needs, how do you feel mentally? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel stressed? Economic stability, do you feel like you have enough money? Do you feel like you're able to do what you need to do? And then after we go through each ones, we can find out the problem areas and what we need to increase and what we need to fix to increase that well-being. One of the articles I wrote was by Cruz, And they said a significant positive association between adolescent self-compassion and satisfaction of basic psychological needs at school was mediated by emotional well-being. So, which obviously with well-being as well, there's different types of well-being: subjective well-being, emotional well-being, all different kinds of well-being. So, meeting your basic psychological needs and having self-compassion, being able to have that positive outlook and not have such negative thinking, which we'll talk about in a little bit, helps with your emotional well-being. It increases your emotional well-being as shown in this article, which just goes hand in hand with what I'm saying. Psychological needs, you have to meet every single aspect to really increase your well-being for all the well-beings, not just emotional well-being, for every single well-being. Another thing within well-being that I've learned throughout this course is identity. This is such an important aspect of well-being because whenever I do therapy, one thing that I really want to incorporate is identity, is learning about yourself, because whenever you're a teenager, you learn your identity. It'll help you in so many ways. It'll help you figuring out what clubs you want to do. It'll help you making friends. It'll help you gaining that confidence. It'll help you pick your major. It'll help you pick your college. And then within like marriage and family therapy, in any kind of relationship, if you don't love yourself, if you don't know yourself, if you're lost within yourself, how are you going to be able to be a partner to someone else? How are you going to be able to provide or benefit someone else at all if you don't even know or love yourself? So I feel like learning about your identity and learning how to love yourself, the earlier you do it, the better it's going to be for your well-being, because relationships, figuring out what you want to do, your goals, your passions, stuff, that all incorporates into well-being, and learning all those will, the earlier you do it, the better it is for you. In one of the articles I read, they stated the findings indicated a positive model of identity development in adolescents, highlighting that subjective well-being increasing strategies contribute positively to identity development, and this relationship is mediated by positive body image. So basically, subjective well-being, another type of well-being, contributes, it goes hand in hand with identity development. So the more you increase your identity development, the better your well-being will be increased, and the more you increase your well-being, the more your identity development will go through. So they kind of go hand in hand. They can both help each other. So if you increase other areas of well-being, it'll increase your identity development. But if you're just increasing your identity development, it's also going to increase your well-being. Also goes hand in hand with positive body image, which, like I was talking about before, it makes you more confident, makes you feel more attractive. Goes hand in hand, which being attractive is not a big part of well-being, but just like having the confidence and feeling that way, it can contribute to your well-being as well. Another thing that kind of contributes to well-being, the last thing, is negative thinking. Negative thinking is such a big contributor to poor well-being. This is important to well-being because it contributes to so many aspects of well-being. If you have everything going wrong in your life, but you change those thoughts into positive thinking, think everything's going to be fine, everything's going to get better, not just down, then your well-being is going to be good, because you're going to have positive thoughts about everything and you're not going to worry about everything. Whereas if you have everything, but you constantly have negative thoughts and you're just a negative person, you're going to think everything's terrible. You're going to think everything's bad regardless, and you're going to have bad well-being. My sister, she thinks negatively about everything, and even if everything's going right, she still thinks horribly about everything, and it honestly makes more things go wrong because you're thinking so negatively about everything. If you have positive thoughts, positive energy will radiate to you, and positive things will happen to you, and your well-being will be higher, just because also whenever things are going wrong, you're just thinking positively about it, so you're not letting your well-being get down. For one article I read, it says the strongest support exists for CBT of anxiety disorders, and general stress. So within that, whenever you have stress and anxiety, you can use that therapy to kind of rearrange those thoughts and get rid of that stress and anxiety, which is causing your lower well-being, to increase your well-being. So, along with negative thinking, I did find one of the articles that we read throughout the semester, one of the class assigned articles, stated reduced use of self-enhancing humor mediated the relationship between most types of cognitive distortions and depressed mood, indicating that distorted negative thinking may interfere with an individual's ability to adapt a humorous and cheerful outlook on life. So, like I was just saying, whenever you have this depressed mood, cognitive distortions, which is where CBT comes in hand, and increases those and gets rid of the cognitive distortions and depressed mood, you don't have a cheerful outlook on life, you don't have a humorous outlook on life, and laughter is the best medicine. Like, being able to laugh about everything and just move on and don't let the little negative things impact you so heavily, even the big negative things. Like, if you can have a positive outlook on everything and just try to change your thinking, that's going to improve your well-being so much. That's going to help you be a more positive, happy person, positive energy, just good things around you. You'll be surrounded by people who bring good energy, good positive energy, who can cheer you up, and just being happy, trying to laugh things off. Laughter is the best medicine, as I said before. So that is really going to benefit you and increase your well-being.